Cash money.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's T.
What?
Oh god, I should really take notes for these videos.
Gravy, run the gang. Young Steve Harvey. Hey. Gravy, come through, finesse the thotties out your party.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's T. Welcome back to a brand new video where I regurgitate a lot of information that other people have been talking about, and I also kind of put a little twist on it with my own opinion. Are you ready to get into this? We're going to be getting into this. Would you take me seriously if I did the whole video in these shades? So the new Call of Duty came out a few days ago, and it may come to a little surprise to you guys that I didn't actually pick it up, is for the past few years, I've made my channel based around Call of Duty videos, whether it was the topic or not. I always kind of had Call of Duty in the background. Hell, I even liked a lot of things in the beta, but for me, however, a lot of those things were completely overshadowed by what Activision has been doing in the game. So I'm going to be covering a lot of things that aren't particularly new information if you keep up with gaming news. If not, maybe you haven't really heard of some of these things that have been going on, and I'm also going to be talking about why you shouldn't be defending some of these things like a video that I'm going to be showing you is doing. So recently, it's been in the news that Activision filed this patent a while back for matching new players up with experienced players to kind of like pressure them into buying guns to make them better at the game artificially. And this is a bad idea in general. You can see why this would mess with the player base and matchmaking in general. It's just a bad idea and it's a bad business practice. It's not a fun time. But putting that one to the side, apparently within the past week or two, they filed another patent for microtransactions, a brand new one, everyone.
Not long ago, Activision were granted a patent for a system which basically put good players against bad players in the hopes that those bad players would buy microtransactions. However, now it turns out that Activision has filed another patent which basically doubles down on all this bullshit.
Now, none of these patents are fully in these games specifically, but they take some of the elements and they've already been implementing them, especially in World War II and probably even Destiny 2, but I haven't been really paying any attention to that. Now, if you played any recent Call of Duties, you know how the stat system works, where it shows you what guns do what, and how the kill cam works, where when you die, you can see what weapon they were using, what perks they were using, etc., etc., etc. But the whole idea behind this new patent is to lock these guns away through microtransactions, and when you're killed by one, you have the option to go ahead and buy it.
It would allow Activision to sell people microtransactions based on what they see in video game streams or VGS. In other words, in-game replays like kill cams or spectator mode.
So imagine, if you will, you're playing COD World War II multiplayer and you're killed by a player who's using a weapon which could be bought through the microtransaction store. If you're shown a kill cam after you're killed, the footage and accompanying overlay would highlight the weapon that player was using. Activision want to make it so that you can actually buy that weapon, item or skin right there and then with one click. They want you at your most impulsive, angry and emotionally vulnerable moment to rage buy an assault rifle.
Now keep in mind, this isn't actually implemented in World War II. Obviously, if you're playing it, you would see that this isn't technically in the game. But the point is, this is the publisher saying this is something they want to do with the games, right? And while they haven't implemented this now, they are trying as hard as possible to get as close to that patent as they can without actually doing it. For example, what they've done with where when you open a supply drop, you open it around 50 other people and they can see you opening it and what you get inside of it. And after seeing all of this stuff with how they're going to be implementing these microtransactions potentially after these patents are filed, and then seeing what they did with this whole Normandy Beach thing where they actually drop microtransaction loot boxes in front of people that are just playing the game and having them watch other players opening them, I had absolutely no plans on supporting this whatsoever.
Gravy might take you on a bad bitch safari.
I was talking on Twitter about how all these microtransactions and things have basically ruined the game for me and made me not even want to buy it, and then this guy said, well, what game isn't? I don't think it's perfect and all, but it's just cosmetics, right? It's your choice to buy it. Every game's doing it, so it's not a big deal. And I have nothing against this guy, but this is the problem. We shouldn't be just saying, oh, well, every game's doing it now. This is just how it is. You shouldn't be accepting this. Oh, and it's all cosmetic and optional, right? That's why they're putting it right in front of my face on Normandy Beach where I can just watch other people open it, right? It's not optional at that point. At that point, I'm being forced to see it. If you're gonna do like Shadow of War and advertise your microtransactions on the pause screen, it's not optional at that point. When you're cutting content out of the game and selling it separately in these loot boxes, it's not optional because I'm missing things that should have been in the core game, like guns. Oh, it's just cosmetics, right? Like when they took Modern Warfare Remastered and put guns into it and locked them behind loot boxes when they did the same thing in Black Ops 3, and everybody was just kind of like, oh, cosmetics, right? It was cosmetics when you could spend $50 on microtransactions in Black Ops 3 and not even get the gun. You can take that whole it's cosmetic argument and throw it right out the window with Call of Duty, because they already said it was going to be cosmetic in Black Ops 3. They said it was going to be cosmetic in Modern Warfare Remastered, which, by the way, they shouldn't have even touched Modern Warfare Remastered at all because it's a remaster. I don't even care if you could grind and earn them. The premise of just locking away game-changing elements and just putting them behind these loot boxes is ridiculous. Oh, Activision, thank you so much for giving me crypto keys and salvage and 5 million currencies when I used to just be able to unlock and buy weapons. I prefer this so much more! Especially when you pay $60 for a game, the first thing you see when you pick up the game is an advertisement to buy the season pass to expand your experience, when I haven't even had a chance to play the freaking game yet. I had to stop myself from cussing because I'm trying not to do that too much. I kind of want my advertisements. I kind of want to make my 1 cent off of this video. If it was just a free-to-play or maybe just a multiplayer-only game at half the price, we couldn't make so much of a fuss about it because, well, they gotta support the game in some way, right? But when you're paying a full $60 for a AAA experience and half of your experience is locked behind DLC and loot boxes, I think that's a big problem. And this was the main reason I didn't buy this game, because I was just thinking, why would I pay $60 for a game to have just a big expansion pass loot box filled advertisement in front of me when I could just spend most of my time playing better games? There's so many other games that don't waste my time with all of this and give me way more content for a much better value. Look at how Nintendo's been doing their games. Every single game I've played, I haven't gotten one single advertisement for DLC or microtransactions. Hell, the DLC that's been coming in Splatoon 2 has been free, and that was a full $60 game. And don't even sit here and try to tell me they need the money when Call of Duty is like one of the biggest #1 selling games out there, period. And you can make a game like Hellblade, which looks like a full AAA experience done by indie developers, and there's not a single advertisement for microtransactions in that. There's plenty of videos going into detail about how much video games actually cost to make and how much they make and how much they don't need to do these microtransactions, but I'm not really getting into all that. There is no reason we should be sitting here just accepting it now, because this is just what all the major game publishers are doing. This isn't okay. This isn't how I want to play my game. I'm not saying that you shouldn't play the game. I'm not saying that we should just boycott the entire game. If you want to play the game, then play the game. But don't buy the microtransactions. You can play the game, but that doesn't mean you have to just accept the way things are. When you sit here and you accept it and you say, well, I guess this is just how every game does it, it's okay now, they're just going to see that as an opportunity to push it further and further to make more money, because these publishers don't care. They're gonna run these games into the ground and then they're gonna move on to their next target. Look at what they did with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. We will never see a good Tony Hawk's Pro Skater game probably ever again. So now we're going to take a look at generic Call of Duty supply drop opening YouTuber defending supply drops. This is really hard to watch.
Chillin' with your mama, getting head, I'm getting all that.
We have actual footage and like video proof of what the supply drop look like, how you open them, where you open them, just a ton of information, and it's so amazing, man. It's so cool.
Now, this guy's entire channel is based on supply drops, so this kind of attitude he has towards them doesn't really surprise me, but it's just astounding that you could even have an entire channel based on something like this and you would legitimately get excited for this. Because there's nothing more excited than spending money on a virtual slot machine that you'll never get any return out of.
Sledgehammer appears to have gone all out on how you open up loot boxes in Call of Duty World War II.
Wow, they went all out. They revolutionized that experience of wasting your money.
The way you open up supply drops is in the headquarters. So you call it in like a care pack. You literally have like a little like thing in your hand and you throw it on the ground. You pick like the position.
Yeah, like a care package. Those things that are actually fun to do in the games, kind of, except that you're just wasting your money on virtual items that you should just have in the game anyways.
And the location of where you want to open up the supply drop, you call it in, and all of a sudden the supply drop falls from the sky, and then the supply drop opens. It's absolutely amazing. Like, it blew my mind.
I want you guys to remember, this guy is talking about supply drops. He's not talking about a new kill streak, which would probably be logged behind a supply drop. He's not talking about a new feature in the game that actually makes the multiplayer fun. He's talking about loot box. This can't be, this is real. This is a real person.
It's absolutely amazing. Like, it literally blew my mind when they said, you know, Sledgehammer went all out on the supply drops. They really did. It's so innovative. It's so different. Like, and you know, Sledgehammer, they just innovated the game. They changed it. They made it something so cool, and the animation is so fluent. Like, the way you call it in like a care package was an absolutely amazing idea, and I'm just so excited to open up supply drop.
What is innovative and amazing about this? You guys remember Black Ops 2 when we had those DLC camos where you could just buy the camo that you wanted. Now you can look at it through a glass window that you can't ever purchase it from, because you'd probably have to spend hundreds of dollars for maybe a 10% chance of actually getting it. That's what I call innovative.
One of my buddies, his name is Long Sensation. He's a YouTuber.
Your buddy's name is Long Sensation. I'm sure he's been giving you a few long sensations.
Then you bring those supply drops into the headquarters, you throw them like a care package, it falls from the sky, and then
You have an audience of kids that see you maybe get something cool, so they spend a lot of money. Do you not see the concept behind this? Do you not see the business practice? Are you completely missing the point here? They're using you as an experiment. This whole thing is an experiment, right? They want to see how other people get excited for these supply drops to spend money on them. And from there, they're going to take that information, and in the next Call of Duty or in the next Activision published game, they're going to take that information and they're going to try to push it a little further. They're going to implement that data into some other element where you can watch and look and get excited for supply drops to spend your money on it. And then they're going to take more content, more guns, more DLC, or more on-disc DLC, and they're going to lock it behind these supply drops, and you're just going to spend more and more and more and more money. So that game that should have been a $60 game that they had plenty of money to develop is now going to turn into probably over hundreds of dollars. I mean, you already take the game and the season pass, you're spending $100 on Call of Duty. For what? And after spending all of that money, after spending $100 on a video game, imagine you have to spend a ton more money to get a gun out of a loot box. Mark my words, they're going to take Call of Duty and they're going to push it as far as they can until they run it into the ground. And I've pretty much given up on it. I know a lot of my friends and a lot of people that watch my videos are Call of Duty players. They're going to be playing this. All I can say is that I encourage you not to buy these loot boxes and supply drops, and speak out against it. Talk about how it's a bad thing. We shouldn't be glossing over this and just saying, oh, well, I guess this is just how it is now, because it's not. If you don't buy the supply drops and you complain about it, eventually they're not going to do it because they're not going to be making money off of it. But I'm basically rambling and regurgitating at this point, and I'm honestly just not having a good time talking about this, to be honest with you. I'm kind of worn out, so I'm just going to end the video here. I just kind of wanted to say something, speak my piece, you know? I don't have a huge audience or a big following to do this, but I feel like I should at least cover this because this was something that I was really passionate about for the past few years, and I'm just seeing it go further and further into the ground. You know, it used to be as simple as you rank up, you get your guns. Now it's you rank up, you get some guns, but if you want some other guns, you better pony up the money, because you can best bet by the end of this year, they're going to have guns and supply drops, just like the past two Call of Duty. And I don't care if you can earn them. The game is designed to make you spend money, and it's not hard for anybody to see that if they just take their little lenses off. These are my corporate slave lenses. I can't see anything past Infinite Warfare. Oh, I take these off. What's that? Modern Warfare 2? A game where you actually bought your content and got your content and DLC didn't make up half the game?